Morning and good morning. How are you doing this morning? It is Friday, March 1st. You tell me this year isn't rushing along very quickly. And I'm excited in some instances, in other instances, I'm thinking I'm behind already. I don't even know how to catch up with all the things I have to do. But anyway, this morning I'm coming to you with my wonderful African collar. It is called an Ankara necklace or an African breastplate, an African print fake collar, an African bib, or an or it's called an African choker. But anyway, I thought yesterday I wore it for the last day of February, which is the month that we look at African American history. But for me, I am of African descent, so to me, it's Africanism and Black, American or whatever we want to call it. It is, excuse me, 365 for me. I am who I am. I am who I am. So I wore it yesterday, and I got so many compliments on it. I said, you know what? I'm going to put on some other black underneath it so it can really showcase what it is. It's just to me, very beautiful and comfortable. Comfortable. It just has a Velcro attachment in the back and a tie, and that's it. So, good morning. How are you doing? Good morning. How are you, Megan? Good to have you in our space. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Today, I wanted to talk about passkeys, and I always think about passkeys and what passkeys are all about. Passkey is just like a password, okay? In order for us to get into our computers, in order to us to get, in our safes and front doors, you require a passkey. Hey, Debbie's niece. I love Debbie. Debbie. Debbie is just my love from so many years ago in New York. I tell you, I love her, so I love you already, Megan. Okay, I love you already. But anyway, passkeys. When we talk about it, she is a trip. Yes, she is. We're gonna get together. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we're gonna meet. We're gonna meet, and then we're just gonna meet. I don't know when, but we got to set it up because there's several of us that all moved from New York, and ironically, we all moved. We all worked together up there, and we all moved to Florida. So all of us are someplace in Florida, except for maybe one person who's up in Buffalo, New York, and he knows who he is. But anyway, we're going to talk about passwords and passkey. The word today is passkey. So I wanted to just give you this little thing that I always look at poems and different things that kind of cite what's going on in our lives. And this one it says by CC, it's by Brian Bilston. And it says, Cummings attempts online banking. How many of us, good morning, my Debbie, my sweet baby. But listen, have you ever gone to your computer, your bank account, whatever it is online, and find out that you cannot remember your passkey or your passwords because they're just like used sometimes interchangeably. But anyway, it says I'm gonna read this little poem. It's really cute. It says, now enter a password. I carry your heart with me. Spaces are not allowed. Please try again. Doesn't this sound like us? Passwords must contain at least one special character. Please try again. Passwords must contain more than 21 characters. Please try again. Passwords must contain a mix of alphanumeric characters. Please try again. Passwords need to contain at least one uppercase letter. Please try again. Passwords need to contain at least one uppercase letter. Please try again. This page is all about what expires. Please enter your new password. Isn't that what we go through every single time we go to a new site? Because everything has a password protection, and keywords are required. It says either it's going to be a password or a passkey. But you got to do something with it in order to get it. Good morning, Joan. How you doing, my friend? Missed you. Glad you're back. Glad you guys are in the space. So it says, I got another little poem, and it says, by Pat, it says passwords. In the bid to bolster his cyber security, Tom sought IDs with greater obscurity, turning to his pets' names for words more quirky. Passwords like the cat, 123456, the desk hound, and his hamster queerty. So isn't that us? Aren't we constantly looking at how can we remember all of this stuff in our heads? It becomes minutia, absolutely minutia. We know it does, but we have to either set up an account that has a secret place to get into it that says that when we go in there we can find all of this other information, or we may, some of us may still have a black notebook, a little one, little thing. Some of us may have just, a good memory. Okay. But the idea is that passwords, especially, pass keys are needed. We have to, we can't go without them. We can't go without them. It's just made it to the point now that those who cannot remember anything need to write them down and put them in a safe place. All that it is. So anyway, I'm going to ask you this morning, do you occasionally get stuck putting in a pass key or a password? Raise your hand. That would be me. And then some of them have a time period on them. There's only so much time allowed for you to have that password that you established. So, at one time you could put a password in, it was for your ever password. Not anymore. They give you 3 months, 120 days, and maybe some of them will give you a year. But a lot of times they are making you decide that you have to change it, and you have to make it where it couldn't be used before, because they keep track of them. And you have to know what you're doing when you put it in so you can get back in your account. I've had some people tell me that they were locked out of locked away from their money because they could not remember how to access their bank information. They couldn't remember it. So it's very important that we look at the whole process of what a passkey is. It says it could be a latch key, it could be the opener of something, it could be something that's skeletal, meaning that it doesn't have a lot of information in it, but yet and still it's required. Okay, please continue to pray for my ministry. Okay, thank you, we will. And John, good morning to you. But anyway, we really look at the whole idea of what a passkey is. And it says, passkey for me, my P, and pass for passkey, the P. It says it's personal. When you have a passkey, no one else is supposed to have that. No one, unless you're in a state of where you're declining in terms of your mental capability, your cognitive capabilities, and you move to a level where you cannot do all of that. So someone else may take over the passkey information. Okay, but it's personal, of relating to or coming as from a particular person. It's private, it's individualized, it is a personal approach. It's personal. It's all a racket. It is a racket. Yes. So anyway, when we talk about personal, we're talking about something that is intimate. It is just for you. It's not for others. Okay, it is not for others. It's special. It should be secret. It should be exclusive. It should be only those who have privy to have gained access. So even when people, are requesting things of you, like the scams that come in through, your email, or they may come in through a text message, or they may come in through a telephone call. They're all trying to get your information. And so they're asking you, such as Social Security keeps telling everybody, we will never call you and ask you what is your Social Security number. We would never do that. We would never call you from the bank telling you you need to provide these numbers in order for you to have access to your money. They're not going to do it. So if you feel it might be something of a scam to getting hold of your personal information, stop. Do nothing else with them. Hang up, delete, report. All of those things are important in order to keep you safe from people trying to have access to things that are yours. And that would be your money, it could be your property, it could be, I mean, I've heard of people being scammed out of their property. Their living space, they're living in a house that someone else was somehow able to get hold of all of their information, and the house actually was sold out from under them because they didn't realize that someone had access to all of their personal pass-keyed kind of information. We have to be very careful. So when we move on in the word of passkey, my A of passkey is absolute. And absolute means something that is not dependent upon external conditions for existence or for its specific nature, size, or etc. It's it says opposed to it being relative. It's not going to be relative that you relatively know your passkey. You have to know it. It's not going to be relative or relatable that you missed something. You forgot to put a character in, or the correct character, you know. And they talk about certain characters that they would never use, but you have to pay attention to that when you're first putting in your information. Otherwise, you will be wandering around trying to get into your account, or you have to go back through the system. And I say sometimes if you have to go back, this is me to get to the location and ask someone that can really do right by you to give you your information to get back in. Affect, yes. Affect and adjective. That's right. That's right. All those things are true. When you think about it, it has to be, it has to make sense. It has to make sense, you know. So when something is absolute, that means it's full. It, once again, it is intimate. It's between you and whatever else you have to do, but it's not between you and a whole bunch of other people. It says it's simple, it's pure, it's unabridged, meaning that you have not divided it any other way. Okay, that several people have to have it unless you set it up like that. And then it's going to be total, meaning that you can't go there with half of the information and think that you're going to have access. You're not. You're not. It won't work. It does not work like that. We move further on in our word of passkey. My first S. Let me see what you'd write for your S, because Debbie always gets my information. Let me see what you guys would write for it. It's looking at the idea of what passkey is, which is private. What would you think that S would be? Safety. Come on now. I didn't put safety, but safety is good, Joan. I didn't put safety. I bet somebody else. Security. Come on now. I didn't put security. I put secret. Your passkey is secret, meaning not everybody should have it, but it also should be secure. There should be seclusion. There should be seclusion to it. Yes. And you must be safe in where you put it. You know, who has access to it. All of those are wonderful, wonderful. So secret is what I put, means to be kept from the knowledge of anybody. It says, but knowledge of any, but the initiated, those who are privileged to have the information. Those who are supposed to have it should have it. Those not, do not. Okay? Which would be most people. You know? I mean, even your kids don't know all your stuff. They may want to, but they don't know it. They may want to. But anyway, those are the things. So secret, that talks about it being, you know, the idea that it's being classified. You've made it classified because it's your information. It is personal, period. Megan, come on now, period. Period is good. It says it's furtive, it's covert, it's hush hush. There's mysteriousness to it. It's undercover, it's private, and it's obscure. I know some people who have actually passed away. No one knew their information. No one. To the point where the money in the bank basically went to the state. Why? Because the passwords were never shared. Never. So the money went to the bank. You know, and then if you want to have access to it to prove that, it goes through probate. Well, most people, by the time it goes through probate, so much has happened that probate can be very expensive. So people spend their time trying to play catch up, you know. How can, and then they realize that the money that they're seeking is not is not costing them, as it's costing them more to go after that money than to just leave it there. It just shows you that there's always something with the quietness of what's out there. So I wrote secret, mysterious, undercover, private, obscure. No one else. So Megan says, no. Well, you just like Debbie. You right, so I love it. I love it. I love it. When I move on, I have a second S for pass, PASS. I'm on that of the key, pass key. I have it is special. Okay. Aunt Debbie, I need to give you my info. Okay. Okay. So special talks about, it says being of distinct or particular kind or a character, a special kind of key. That's what we're looking at. A pass key is going to be special, meaning they're asking you for what? Special characters, are they not? How many? It must be 15 characters long, and it cannot have more than this and less than that. And it sets it up. It puts the parameters around what it is that makes you realize you need to remember. Search, oh, satisfaction, that's good. And search is great, because sometimes that's what we do. We search in our heads. What is that password? What is that passcode? What's that pass key? Okay, scary. Yes, it is. At times it is scary, Debbie. So I wrote special. It says, meaning that special talks about what's appropriate, because it's a requirement now, what's certain, what's different, what must be exclusive for that particular, setup of the account or whatever it is, because you might be doing even a safe, like a home safe with numbers and all of that kind of stuff, just trying to remember all of that. And then it talks about what's exceptional, what's limited, and what becomes primary. In order for you to get back and stuff, you have to have it to become primary enough that either you know where to go and find the information in the event that you haven't been in there in a long time, or you need to go, find it to make sure that what you put in there, no one else has had access to. That's the way it goes. Next, we're going to move on to the KEY part. So pass we already did, which is personal, absolute, secret, and special on my end. And then the key, the KEY, I said, when you have something that is this special, it is a keep process. How do I keep what I have to myself and keep what I want private? How do I do that? It says keep means to hold or retain in one's possession. Hold as one's own, It means that it is for you and only you. When my mother used to always say, when I'm dead and gone, you kids will decide what you want, blah, 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 blah. By the time my mom left this life, man, everybody had more than they could handle. And my mother's stuff became burdensome to me. So I gave away, I threw away, I sold, and then I left in storage, which to me was the worst thing ever. Because when it all was said and done, after years and years of me not being able to go through it, being that I lived here, my mother lived in New York, and it was just so hard to get to, it when I added it all up of what I had been paying on a monthly basis, it ended up being short of $10,000. That was just crazy. Keepsake, good. Yep. Key punch, yes. All of that, yes. Crazy. I mean, I just feel that I let myself down when I realized what I could have done with $10,000 instead of just paying someone $10,000 to just hold stuff that I couldn't get through in terms of memory, that kind of stuff. So when we have stuff that we keep, it says that we carry it, do we not? We conduct it, we control it, we manage it, or actually we put it in a place where it is managed. Sometimes we put it in a place where we feel it's controlled or it's not out of control. It's just out of our necessary requirement to keep constant control of. That's what we do. Sometimes it's hard to let go. It is. It is. I'm the first one to say that. It is, and I had a friend who knew that she was passing away and she was older, and she would always say, Dr. Wimborne, I want you to have this. I want you to have this. And it would be little stuff. I remember my one little friend, and I think she died at like 91. She had an egg that it was a ceramic egg that she wanted me to have. And she didn't call me she didn't call me Dr. Winborn. She called me Dr. Winbone. Not the Benbone. Benbone. It was like BENBORN. And I answered. Whatever she called me, I was going to answer. But she gave me this beautiful, and I do have it in my china cabinet. But you know what I'm looking as I, give me 15 years, 10 years, 15 years. Well, actually more than that to get to the 90s. I got a lot of years. I still would probably do what she did, which is give it to people that I feel would take care of it and watch over it, in my absence, that kind of thing. Totally agree. Totally agree. Thanks, Joan. So when I move on in the word, but when I finish talking about keep, it says also we preserve stuff, we save stuff, we retain stuff, and we store stuff. Do we not? Oh, yes, we do. Just don't call her late for supper. That's right. Don't call me late. Mm-mm. But that's what we do when we have a lot of things over time. And I think the longer we live, the more people give us, and then the more we buy, and then the more we keep, and then the more we, okay, just more. Okay, simple, just more. So when we move on in the word of our passkey, my E in passkey is for exclusive. When you have a passkey, it is exclusive. It is only for you. It is not meant that everybody would have it. It's once again, it is secretive. It says not admitting of something else, It says incompatible with anything else. Mutuality, exclusive plans of action have been decided. It's effective. Yes, it will be effective. Meaning, what I have for me is not for you. What you have for yourself is not for me. That's the way I look at it when you're looking at a passkey. It says it should be absolute. It should be private. It should be restrictiveness to it. It should be sole ownership unless it is joint. Unless you have something like certain accounts, they say if you want someone else's name on it, you have to go to the bank with them and put your name down. It has to be signed and all the paperwork, trying to get all the legalities stuff straight so that everyone is taken care of in the event of someone's demise. Essential. That's good, Debbie. Very, very good. So also I have under exclusive that it would be unique to you. It would be limited, and it says exclusionary, meaning it doesn't need to include anybody else if it's not supposed to. That's the way it is. Good morning, Mr. Eddie. How are you? Love it that you're in the space this morning. Hello to Miss Gwen, sitting in my shed. Okay, sitting in your shed. You got what do they call them? The tough sheds. They got a he shed and a she shed. So okay, I love it. I have one, but I have stuff in it. Okay, sorry. But that's usually when I'm doing my events. But I'm gonna get better. Exhausting. Come on now. Debbie, it is exhausting when you're trying to keep things straight. Now I'm going to do my why, but before I do my why, I want to know what would you do for your why? Me too. That's right. What would you do for your why? Debbie, Megan, Joan, and Mr. Eddie. Your why means if you have a private passcode or a private word that you have access to your different things, okay, what would you use for the why of that word? I think it's pretty simple. For me. Yield. Okay, come on now. I like yield. Yield says yield not to others, but to yourself. Okay, yes. How about you, Debbie? You always have a word. I know you got probably several words. You probably got your thesaurus out. Look, I got a new, you can't really see it because the light is so bright, but I got a new Yeti, a small Yeti. It's called the Grab and Go Yeti. It's real small for my coffee. Yell. Yell if somebody comes near you. Okay, that's good. I have it that it's yours. Yours, yours. When you have a passcode to get into your computer, your bank account, your safe, whatever it is, safe deposit box, all that kind of stuff, it's yours. It's no one else's, you know. I like that. So anyway, yours, it says it's a former possessive case of you, used as basically it's predictive, and it is an adjective. It talks about it being hers, his, its, mine, theirs. But usually a passcode is not shared in the theirs. It's not shared in the mine only if it's yours and you only know it as yours. That's where it would be. That could be the possibility. It belongs to others. His is specific, meaning that's his, identifying him. Hers is specific, meaning it identifies her. It is intimate. Yes, Megan. Yes, yes. Yuck. Yuck. You are so funny. But you know what? Yuck is probably a good word because that means you don't like it. You don't like it. I don't want whatever is mine, whatever is yours is yours. Okay. Now, there's a lot of people, they get to a point in their life where they give everything away and it becomes everybody's. I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't gotten there yet. But I realize the importance of, as we get more and more, I would say progressive with IT and the everything being done electronically, we have to be mindful about how we put our information out there. And a passkey or a password, whatever they want to call it, because they're all related, those two are related to each other. We need to make sure that we're keeping track of where our money is going, where our things are housed, who has access to them, who has even access to us. So, because I think it sometimes I'm my own password, my own passcode, okay, my own pass. Excuse me, you don't have access to me like that. So even when I have people that come in, even into our sessions, and they write about their different areas to be concerned about, it's not benevolent. I don't have a benevolent thing going on, even though I do a lot of work in the community, but that's because I can see it. I can realize what it is doing for the community, in the community, and for the people that it is affecting. So that's how I look at that. But I'm always looking at the fact that when we are in positions of being able to do good, we have to spread it out there. Let everybody know that the purpose of this sessions, my vlogs, are to help people just make decisions for themselves, whatever those decisions are, you know. Um, and I'm so happy that Megan came today. I thank you for that, Megan. I thank, my wonderful friend Debbie for letting you know that we have fun here. We're not making up stuff. I research all of my stuff before I come in with it. And I also look at what's going on in the world. The world today has become more and more and more complicated. And for those of us who are going to stay on paper and pencil approaches to life, we're probably going to be left behind or left out. We must be progressive in our approach on how we safeguard ourselves, how we safeguard our information and access to it. That's how I look at everything that I'm doing as I move forward. I'm going to be having more and more and more fun and trying to keep it down within my 40-minute time frame, so I'm not bugging y'all too much. But the interaction is wonderful. I appreciate that. I look forward to seeing you guys every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m. Central Time, which is probably 10. I don't know, Megan, are you on Central Time or are you on East Coast time? I'm on Central. So I know those who are on Central, I might start at 9 o'clock, but those are on East Coast, Eastern Standard Time. Of course, it's 10 o'clock for you all. So I know I'm starting to get into your day. I'm starting to mess with y'all, because most people are probably up and out and gone if they're not working a regular job, probably about that 9:30, 10 o'clock time frame. She's East, all right. Okay, she's East too. Okay, it's fine. Well, listen, I love you guys. I'm going to see you on Monday. If you don't do anything else, take your little, mouse and hit that button that just says share. You don't even have to write a note. Just say tune in. Tune in. Winnie got something for you. I'm Dr. Winnie. I'm going to see you again on Monday. I love you, love you, love you. Appreciate you so much. Have a great day. Be safe this weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Okay? Enjoy yourselves. And look, pay attention to that pass key. Okay? Pay attention. Not just one, all of them. Okay? Have a good day. Thanks, dears. Bye bye.